Hi, I'm Steelfur of Steelfur Speaks, and this is a evergreen guide to all the keywords in the game and how they were introduced and during what set. This goes through all the keywords in chronological order divided by set. You can find the other videos in this order in the playlist associated. In this video, we're calling out new keywords, explaining a bit about what they do. We're not really covering existing keywords that people should know, and we're kind of assuming you know how to play the game of Flesh and Blood. So this is sort of a catch-up series and a guide for new players who are wondering, when did we first see that keyword? What keywords are in different sets if I'm going to draft it? And also, you know, what heroes and what talents might represent certain keywords based on what sets they were released in. It is worth noting that we see the return of Landmark in this set. There are very few landmarks in the game, but Landmark is essentially a permanent that you put into play, and either it's destroyed by its own text or by someone playing another landmark. After this, the first main keyword we see introduced into the set is the Essence keyword, and this is usually essence of an element. So Essence of Earth and Ice, for example, is a deck building restriction that says you can include cards that include the keyword Earth and Ice. We could, of course, see at later dates a hero with Essence of Earth only, for example, though all the examples we have at the moment are 2-card essences. It is very possible we may get a 1-card essence in the future. So this is a deck building restriction. It does not matter during the game, but when you see a hero put down in front of you, you should take note of the essences so you know what cards they are liable to play from the pools of Earth and or Ice cards. These cards are identified simply because they have the element association in the card type, so Earth card here, for example, and having the essence allows you access to those cards during deck building. You don't have to worry about this during the game, except being aware of what type of cards you're going to run into against. We also see the addition of the Elemental talent in this set. Elemental is something that spans multiple classes and every class in the set, which is Ranger, Runeblade, and Guardian, and it really just defines a series of generic cards that can be played in any elemental hero, like Entwine Earth, for example, but cannot be played in generic heroes or heroes of other classes. So it enables people to have access to those cards without necessarily giving them to the broader card pool. After that, the next thing that is worth noting is the Fusion keyword. So Fusion is an ability that is added as an additional cost to playing a card. So when you play the card, to meet a fusion criteria, you have to reveal a card of the ice or the element that matches the fusion type from your hand. If you do, it gains a bonus. This is a kicker effect that is added to cards that powers them up when you reveal from your hand a card that matches the element. It's just worth noting the sequence for this for new players, which is often where people go wrong. You have to pitch before you fuse, so you do have to play the card, pay the cost for pitching, and then you play the additional cost of the fuse, which means in order to play, say, Emerging Avalanche with an Ice Fusion, you have to have 3 cards in your hand. You have to have Emerging Avalanche, you have to have a yellow or a blue card to pitch for the cost, and you have to have an Ice card to fuse as well. And really and luckily, that is all the keyword we got in Tales of Aria. You see different versions of this, you know, Earth Fusion, Ice Fusion, Lightning Fusion, some joint fusions where you can reveal 1 and or 2 cards. You do this in sequence, and it can also be the same card. So you could reveal an Earth and or Lightning card. You could reveal an Earth Lightning card. There are 3 cards in the set that have 2 keywords that can meet these criteria. And really that just plays out through the entire set in different ways. The only other thing to be aware of from a keyword mechanical perspective is the channel keyword. So when we see channel on a card, what this means is it'll say channel an element. At the beginning of your end phase, you put a flow counter on the card that's channeling. There are currently 4 cards that channel, and then you destroy it unless you put a card of the channeled element, in this case Earth, so any card that says Earth, on the bottom of your deck, from your pitch zone on the bottom of your deck for each flow counter. So it's important to note 2 things. This happens at the beginning of your end phase, so it happens before your pitch stack goes on the bottom of your deck. So if you do put your pitch stack on the bottom first, you are out of order now. Judges will often let you fix this, especially after the rules changes, as long as you acknowledge it in good time. So if it's the first thing that happens on your opponent's turn is you realize you've forgotten to channel Mount Heroic, you can typically rewind and fix it, but it is a good idea to get into the practice of you channel first. So look at your pitch stack at the end of the turn. After you arsenal, you look at your pitch stack, you take an Earth card, you put it on the bottom, and then you put your pitch stack cards on underneath. and that's how it goes. And you put an additional flow counter on before you do that. So the first turn you have to put 1 earth card on the bottom. The second turn you have to put 2 earth cards on the bottom, and so on and so forth until you cannot meet that criteria. If you cannot meet that criteria, it is destroyed instantly. The only other thing that's added from a mechanical perspective in this set is the Frostbite token. And that is just worth... Well, there's 3 tokens. There's Embodiment of Earth, Embodiment of Lightning, and Frostbite. These aren't mechanically different tokens. They just apply to one specific hero in the game who can use them to get bonuses while defending and attacking. So unless you're playing Briar, you don't really need to worry about them. But Frostbite can be given out by multiple heroes, so it is worth calling out. Frostbite is a token you give to your opponent when you generate it. And really it just says cards and abilities you control cost an additional 1. And when you meet the criteria or the turn ends, they get destroyed. So anytime I'm playing a card, if I have a Frostbite token, it costs an additional 1. Pulse of Volthaven, for example, would cost 1 to play. If I can't meet that cost, I can't destroy the Frostbite. I just have to pass. But when I pass to the end of my turn, the Frostbites will get destroyed naturally. So that's not a keyword, but it's just worth taking note. Frostbite works that way. And those are the keywords for Tales of Aria. So next we're going into a supplemental set, so there might not be any new keywords, but it will be exciting to go into Everfest and have a look at what's going on there.